For example, in my electorate of Hughes, within the Sutherland Shire local government area, Australians are now waiting 75 days on average to receive the age pension. And I know this because my office is now receiving far more calls than it ever has in nearly 2 years about this delay. It's taking over 82 days for people in the Sutherland area to receive the low income card. This is a very grim picture of a vital government service that is not coping during a cost of living crisis.
The question is that the motion be agreed to, and I call a member for Hughes.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I rise to speak on this motion and thank the member for Bradfield for again bringing this important matter about the performance of Services Australia to the attention of the House. Because, Deputy Speaker, in a cost of living crisis, more and more Australians are turning to Services Australia. However, unfortunately, while those working at Services Australia are doing the best that they can under the stewardship of Minister Shorten, the system is struggling and in many cases is failing Australians. I point particularly to the processing times for claims, such as the age pension and disability support pension. These processing times continue to blow out. I'm hearing it in my electorate, and many on the other side are also hearing this in their electorate. Processing times for Centrelink payments aren't any better. People applying for the low income card are now waiting 5 times longer compared to 2 years ago. And, Deputy Speaker, this can be attributed, it's a direct result to bad decisions that have been made by the Albanese Labor government since taking office, and particularly bad decisions made by the minister in charge. For example, the current government cut a major contract with specialist call centre operator Serco in June 2023. This then resulted in some 600 call centre jobs being cut. The only conclusion that can be drawn then, with 600 jobs being cut, is that waiting times then blow out, as less staff are required to perform the work needed by more. And for months, Deputy Speaker, the Coalition has been calling for there to be a root and branch review of Service Australia's operations, so that we can determine the agency's underlying problems and take steps then to improve the performance. This is what the minister should be doing if he was serious about this problem. Because, Deputy Speaker, a review would put politics aside and put the needs of Australians first. Given the vast number of other reviews currently being undertaken by this government, it is very surprising that it does not want a review of the very important organisation of Services Australia. And I was here in the chamber when the member for Moreton said that the Albanese government's very proud to announce that it's recruited 3,000 extra staff. What the member of Moreton did not say is that this comes on the back of one of this government's first acts when it came to power, was to cut staffing by nearly 1,000 people. So we are still behind by at least 1,000 jobs. One thing the government has also not said much about is the funding for these new staff runs out at the end of this financial year, and there does not seem to be any plan put in place to replace those staff. So, Deputy Speaker, in those circumstances, why isn't Services Australia doing more to use technology? Why hasn't it taken the lead of the former Coalition government in New South Wales and properly digitised Services Australia? But before we even get to that point, there must be a clear diagnosis of the cause of Service Australia's problems. Only then can there be a roadmap to fix all of the problems. And, Deputy Speaker, I just want to draw some attention to some of the new data that's just been revealed about how long Australians in different communities across our country are waiting for a range of vital Centrelink payments to be processed. Particularly, for example, in my electorate of Hughes, within the Sutherland Shire local government area, Australians are now waiting 75 days on average to receive the age pension. And I know this because my office is now receiving far more calls than it ever has in nearly 2 years about this delay. It's taking over 82 days for people in the Sutherland area to receive the low income card. This is a very grim picture of a vital government service that is not coping during a cost of living crisis. So communities in every corner of Australia are being plagued by payment delays. Australians need these payments fast, they need them efficiently, and this is not occurring under Services Australia at the moment. And if we turn now to the age pension, for example, and processing times on that, in my electorate, in the Sutherland local government area, it's now taking 78 days to process an age pension application. It is taking, in the Liverpool local government area, it's taking 68 days. This is simply not good enough, Deputy Speaker. In a cost of living crisis, people are necessarily turning to Services Australia. Services Australia, under this government, under this minister, is so far failing to deliver. Australians deserve better, Deputy Speaker.